You are watching Q2Cast TV.
Late for briefing, Jordy's mad. Social skills are really bad. Hollow pursuits, holodeck 3. Troy's the only one nice to me. Crusher, Riker, tiny men. Fencing in a forest glen. Empathy got a silken lace. Safe from every judging face. Program 9, the 3 musketeers. Calming all my social fears. Picard's annoyed, the crew is peeved. My promotion's unachieved. Wesley whispers in the hall, the meanest nickname of them all. Broccoli, the boy declared, now I'm feeling stripped and bad. Please don't call me Broccoli. It's a cruel nickname and I feel the shame. Please don't call me Broccoli. No, I didn't choose it, I just want to lose it. Ancient genes, primitive scenes, bursting at the seams. Protomorphosis syndrome, deep inside my chromosome. Worf has claws and Troy has gills. Ancient DNA that kills, deep within the shadows hid. I'm a multi-eyed arachnid, creeping where the darkness lies. Caught the captain by surprise, skittering through the Jeffries tubes, where the primal hunger moves. Data's cat, a scaly lizard, every deck's a biohazard. Holodeck identity, give me back my dignity. Please don't call me Broccoli. It's a cruel nickname and I feel the shame. Please don't call me Broccoli. No, I didn't choose it, I just want to lose it. Array. I'm the genius of the day. Neural and computer core knowledge they could not ignore. Grandmaster at 3D chess, solving problems with finesse. Einstein's logic, Shakespeare's soul, finally feeling in control. Transporter beam, realm of fear, shimmering shapes are drawing near. Infection in the biofilter, everything is out of kilter. Reached into the matter stream, saved a soul within the beam. Plexusite, a nervous twitch, I'm the guy who fixed the glitch. Please don't call me Broccoli. It's a cruel nickname and I feel the shame. Please don't call me Broccoli. No, I didn't choose it, I just want to lose it. Stuttering, stammering, diagnostic hammering, upper deck level 4. Don't walk through the yellow door. Picard slipped, said the name, now he's feeling all the blame. I'm an officer, I'm a man, call me Reginald, it's who I am. Please don't call me Broccoli. It's Reginald Barclay. Please don't call me Broccoli.
Welcome to the Madman Cafe, live on Q2Cast TV.
Broadcasting live from high atop his mountain fortress, the only place with enough altitude to hide from his creditors. He's the man who once tried to teach a toaster to sing the blues. And somehow, he got a standing ovation. Lock your windows, hide your sanity, and definitely don't offer him a map. Here is the Madman.
Welcome. It's 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 Central, live right here on YouTube and Rumble. Welcome aboard. to another edition of the Madman Cafe. Thank you on there. As you're here, don't forget to like, share this video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe. Don't forget, very important. Want to move up on the algorithm a little bit on there. Also, don't forget, we have super chats, memberships, all that fun action on there. And if you want to go further and help support this channel, don't forget, we do have a gear shop at shopcuticast.com. Gear up, stand out, join the movement. Yes, for a limited time through the summer, use the code Stay Mad, get an extra 10% off our t-shirts. You know, we have our Stay Curious shirts, our Let Anime Speak, and of course, our Madman Signature Cafe shirts available on there. So don't forget, shopcuticast.com. Join the movement. And, you know, there's a lot going on right now. Snob is going to be a little bit late, but of course, always on time is one of our favorites, Outpost Nerd.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
A lot going on, isn't there? A lot.
So
There's an animation convention going on right now. I know the Batman Nightfall trailer has come out on there, and there's a lot of other stuff. I heard that they're going to be doing a live action Magic School Bus.
What?
Yeah, I ain't kidding you on that. It was like who was it on there? I have it. I just sent it to Jason. It's with Elizabeth Banks in production and her playing Miss Fizzle.
God.
Yeah, I know. It just gets.
I thought that SNL broad was bad in that remake, the sequel series they did a few years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I do want to start off with some bad news on there. We lost another of our what do they call it, Sentai actors, Rishi Seki, who passed away last week. He did a lot of the Sentai stuff, a lot of the pre-Ranger stuff before Power Rangers was in the US. On there, some great roles that he's done throughout the years, characters that he's done, costumes. Passed away on there. Most people don't realize that this happened on there. So
I was looking at his Super Sentai roles, and I didn't recognize half of them. I recognized the Wild Force one up there beside his head.
Right. He did also a couple of other series that were signature series.
Yeah,
that was sort of like Sentai, but it was like individual characters themselves.
Yeah.
You know, like Kamen Rider also.
Yeah,
I think there's a Kamen Rider character there too.
Kamen Rider has never taken off in the United States like Power Rangers did.
No. A limited time it did, like on the when they used to have the Fox Kids one for a while.
It lasted 1 or 2 seasons. It was Masked Rider. It was
yeah.
I
think he got killed out by Beetleborgs. I think it was that time.
They connected Masked Rider with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers by having the Masked Rider's home planet being the same as Alpha 5's.
Right.
And Beetleborgs was a completely different thing. Like I loved Beetleborgs.
Oh, Beetleborgs was fun. Beetleborgs were fun. Then they came out with what was it? Teenage Kids from Beverly Hills, whatever the hell was that one?
Teenagers from Beverly Hills. Basically, they became giant luchadors.
Yeah, it was like, even Dragon Ball Abridged made fun of that.
Yeah,
they had the one where was it Goku was with Vegeta. Vegeta says, "You never watched you never watched this show, Sailor Moon," and he said, "Tattoo." Yes. And he said, "Oh, son of a bitch."
There was one part I remember. I saw in a clip. It's where like they have an emergency where everything they think of comes true, and one of the guys thinks of one of the girls in a bikini. So she pops up into a bikini on a kid's show, like one of those two-piece sexy bikinis. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
It was an insane show.
Yeah. And some news that came out of the animation convention that's coming out now. We're getting a new Powerpuff Girls series.
Ugh.
Animated, not live. They're not going with that
No,
live action.
this will be the third animated Powerpuff Girls
Is
series
it third
we've
or
had.
fourth? Because there's an anime one.
I've never seen the anime one, so you're
There's
right.
an anime one which was not so bad. It was really good.
I liked the original Powerpuff Girls. I'm manly enough to say it because they had cool monsters, cool powers, and the girls were awesome.
Yeah. On top of that, because it's by Warner, they're also going with a Thundercats series, another animated series with Thundercats.
This will be the fourth animated
Yeah.
series, Thundercats.
It would be the fourth
I
animated
liked
series.
that second one they did where like Thundera wasn't a planet; it was like a city state.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed that one.
Is that the one
Wilfordell.
with the opening where he goes, "I'm Adam," and then suddenly out of nowhere everything goes to hell? Is that the one?
Was like Thundercats Go. That was like an
Okay.
animated chibi version of it.
Okay.
This one was like a kind of hardcore, like Wilfordell from Batman Beyond and Boy Meets World.
Yes, I remember that one now. Yes.
Matt Mercer of Critical Role Flame played Tigra. Panthro was Kevin Michael Richardson. He's like a chameleon. You've heard him. He plays Cleveland Jr. on Family Guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was the Joker in the Batman. He was one of the Jokers. Great actor, great voice actor.
Just want to say hello out there to James, and also, hey Cam, what's going on?
What's up, Cam? That show lasted one season, sadly, and I was bummed because it was a great show.
Yeah. Also, we got to bring this up because I can there. If you're familiar with John Byrne, who created some of the best X-Men stuff around, he's coming out with a new X-Men Elsewin. It's called Elsewin. That's coming out very soon. That's selling out like crazy right now. But then again, you got crazy people out there, and I can't believe she's back in this on there. Heather Antos, if you remember Heather Antos on her situations, she's slamming John Burnett says, don't buy this. Is it, oh, you put this out during Pride Month? Or is it why? Everything has got to have pride on there?
To them, yes.
Well, this is the activists on there. The true person that's part of the LGB community doesn't want this. They want to be left alone. They want to be left alone. There was that whole thing I talked about on Madman with the Show. Hey, PB. That there was an article out that there used to be a gay channel. Actually, there were two gay channels. One is still going. The other one folded. It turned into they turned it into a sitcom channel. Because and the article was out that said, a lot of people in that community don't want to see a lot of shows with LGBT members on there. They want to see real good stories. Every once in a while, hey, something like a La Cage aux Folles. Well, I can't remember that movie. I'm trying to remember one that was really good from years ago. It dealt with the LGBT community, but nonetheless, sometimes that does good stories. I mean, this weekend you had Leviticus that came out that basically didn't do well, and that was supposedly about gay conversions, and Girl Like Girls, which also didn't do well at the box office. Also, two movies of that, the community did maybe 1 to 2 million, next to nothing to that point.
Or what was that RuPaul one we talked about recently?
Oh, and the RuPaul one. I forgot about the RuPaul one. Yeah, thank you. The RuPaul
$1,000
is in the it's in the dirt. That one's done. It's done and finished on that. They ain't going any further on that. See, RuPaul could have gone. RuPaul. I think she was producing on this. She didn't have to hire all these celebrities. She could have done a sort of a drag race type comedy, to the point, and you might have garnered some money, made her some money to that point. But hey, listen, you went out and you had to hire Sarah Michelle Gellar and all the rest of them, and yeah, PB, yeah, exactly. The logo channel. I forgot the name of the channel, but
I've never heard of that channel.
The logo channel. And the marketing was 7% of the global population was a bad business decision, and that's the truth. They weren't gardening. They moved RuPaul's Drag Race from Logo over to VH1.
Now RuPaul's funny. They don't need to play into. They don't need to pander to people.
Well, even the drag community has been drawn into the activism,
Yeah.
which is a shame because there are true, you know, drag queens out there that are really good. Here in New York, we have there's a drag show that's very popular, and and you have these others that are just not really drag queens. They don't understand what it is to be a drag queen.
Mhm.
It's a shame. That this happens to that community because they happen to be very good at what they do.
And there's some of the loveliest people I've met. I've known some in my town. My small town in Florida. We have them, and they're some of the nicest people you could ever meet.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You know. Moving on a little bit on this, getting away from Heather Hantos to the point. Ghost in the Shell's coming out, new one. And basically, so far the trailer looks great. Supposedly it's hand drawn, and basically they're going by the manga, the original manga itself. And it feels like the original manga itself.
Okay. I was about to say I'm
And
not too
I can't wait
thrilled
for
with.
this. I really can't wait. This is Sorrow. This is Science Sorrow that's doing this.
I was about to say I'm not thrilled with the way she looks on the cover, but now that I see it, it seems like that was just like the art.
That's her original look. That
on
was
the
her
cover?
original look from the manga. No, from there and the
That's
cover.
her original look right there.
That's her original. That's the Major's
I've
original
never seen
look.
the Major look like this.
Well, no, if you've gotten the manga, this is the manga.
I mean, it looks awesome. I'm like, it looks good. I mean,
Well, you have some of the Japanese voice actors returning. I know the one that played the original Major. She's no longer with us. She passed away. But the secondary character from the second movie, I think it is, will be voice acting the Major in the Japanese version. On there.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot to that, and you can see right there. That almost looks, that is literally from the movie itself. I mean, from the series itself. Yeah, that is what it's a hint off the manga itself. And a lot of people saying that this could be very successful. Bring the Ghost in the Shell back in the spotlight once again.
I think after the American movie, it kind of went on the back burner. That movie, that Scarlett Johansson movie they did.
Yeah, well, you know what the main problem was with the Scarlett Johansson one? Cinematography. See, the problem was they put the elements that were in the original movie into the fold, sort of, but they didn't shoot it just the way the anime was.
Okay.
The backgrounds weren't backgrounds; they were foregrounds. Go back and watch Ghost in the Shell, the original, and the way you have that plane that flies right on over, which that actually does happen. That the airport is that close to one of the cities in Japan. You just literally the plane flies that low, and to that angle that you see, it's and that's a matte paint, with the animation on top. It's beautifully done. It's the same thing with Akira. It's the same situation with Akira from that era. You had all these different animations and all that. That's why I always recommend Robot Carnival. If you want to get started on anime, go and see Robot Carnival the movie, which is available on Tubi. It's available on Amazon. It's available on most streaming. And a lot of the guys who worked on that worked on many other series like Ghost in the Shell, Akira, the Animatrix, and you'll see their artistic design that they put then, which is art. And I've always said this: anime is art, because you got those out there that criticize anime and say like, oh, oh, it's for you perverts and this and that. And said, no, you don't know anime.
Well, it's the same criticism
You've
science
never,
fiction gets. Oh, it's a lesser form.
yeah,
Like Stanley used to say, one of the greatest like comic book artists and writers in history used to be embarrassed to tell people that he writes comics. And
yeah, yeah. There are people that say, well, no, they're afraid to say that they watch anime. Also, I was like, why are you going to be afraid of that? Why are you going to be afraid? It is a good content. Yes, okay. There's some stuff there that okay, it's a little sexy and fan service driven izikais, to the point. And yes, like every other genre, there is the adult version of it. Obviously, Hollywood has their adult version too. So you can't say that Japanese are that they're perverted for what they do. Hollywood has been making those type of movies similar to that for years. Like we were talking before earlier, we were talking about Redo the Healer before we started the show, and basically a lot of people complained about it because of all the scenery of what he does to get revenge. Now, take it 1970s, 1980s. Were full, and still, even in the 2000 era, we're full of revenge films. Very, some of them very graphic, some of them minor. I can go back to I Spit on Your Grave, Miss 45, Little Girl Lives Down the Lane, many others that basically are in that same concept, whereas somebody, whether it's male or female, most of them were female, getting revenge to an assault that they had upon them.
Kill Bill. Perfect revenge story.
Well, Kill Bill is a perfect revenge, but she wasn't assaulted. She was shot. I'm talking about a more, like, for example, Miss 45. Miss 45, great director, fantastic movie. In fact, I just got the new remaster on it. It's about a woman. She's deaf. I mean, she doesn't speak at all. She gets assaulted not once but twice in the same day, and then she decides to go all Charles Bronson Death Wish. Okay, get to that point. She just goes out and just starts shooting people up. To that point. And same thing, like I spit on your grave. A woman is assaulted by a bunch of guys. She goes back and gets revenge on all of them, real horribly to that point. You have standard revenge stories like Kill Bill, of course. You're left for dead and you come back and you're like, oh, I'm going to get these guys. But the stories that I'm talking that's similar, like the Redo the Healer, is you are really getting a revenge story upon that. So this is the things on that. But Ghost in the Shell coming soon on there. A lot of others. Like I said, Batman Nightfall trailer just came out. There's supposedly a Robin tale. It sounds horrible. That it's going to be Dick Grayson Robin and Jason Todd together. That they were growing up on the streets together before they became Robin. It's like a tale of two Robins. Excuse me. Supposedly coming out of Warner also. So that doesn't sound good at all. So let's get into the main crux of today's story. Hollywood just doesn't understand sci-fi.
No, they don't. They never have.
They really do. They really don't understand it. Why is that? I can name a ton of articles that are out there that, and I'm going to bring up one of them, and one of them is from 2013. And I'm going to bring this up. This is from Live Journal. Hollywood science fiction problem. And I'm just going to read a little bit on it because there's a lot of elements to that. As a fan of science fiction, I'm often excited when Hollywood decides to make a science fiction movie, or at least I used to be. These days, it seems exceedingly rare that a science fiction feature films are any good. At best, they're lackluster or confusing. At worst, they make me want to throw things at the screen. This was brought to light recently when I saw the movie Elysium. On paper, Elysium should have worked It was a film by Neil Blomkamp, who wrote and directed District 9. In fact, I have the box set on there, which is like District 9, Chappie, and Elysium. It dealt with issues of class and immigration at a time when these things were at the forefront of many Americans' minds. It had the most believable science on there. Yeah, okay, Outpost. Elysium ultimately failed for numerous reasons. It lacked subtlety. It was full of plot holes and devolved into a simple slugfest by its climax. It was a dumb movie, and it seems to be a common output uh, from Hollywood these days. Remember, this is 2013. This article was out. From every decent movie I could think of, I can name at least three bad ones, and then they're in middle layer of mediocrity, usually including the more traditional action fare. But because of this objective, I think you deserve a baseline. What movies qualify as good science fiction? I know my own taste, but for this post, I consulted several online lists and came up with a number of movies that tally with mine. Some of the top movies is 2001, Blade Runner, Aliens, Terminators 1 and 2, Close Encounters, and Back to the Future. I could name a slew of others on there, going back into the 70s, 60s, 50s that were really good at the time period. Of course, Forbidden Planet happens to be one of the best out there for its time period. A movie that basically had great sounding special effects. Of course, Robbie the Robot, a monster that basically was created from your own mind. The science was there, even though a lot of the 50s science fiction were cheesy, but some of them were really, really good. You know, but why so many recent science fiction movies suck? I've had a few theories about it, and I'm going to share with you the points related. Some of the things, and he brings it up pretty good on here. Ignoring the science part. I'm not a stickler who thinks everything in science fiction has to be restricted to our own current scientific understanding. That would mean no faster than light travel, no time travel, and a lot less fun. I think there's too much time travel, too much multiverse type situation these days, because that's what always pointed to. There's a lot more to science than time travel and basically multiverse. But Hollywood notoriously is bad at being scientific. One only has to watch Mythbusters to see that. What is the big deal? You to be fantasy. We watch them for entertainment, not necessarily for education. But in science fiction, much of the world that's being built, futuristic societies, alien cultures, advanced technology, depends on a believable backbone. And once you start removing the pieces of real science, the backbone crumbles like a Jenga tower. Uh, One example he gives is Star Trek Into Darkness opens with a scene with the Enterprise submerged beneath an alien planet ocean. Even if you make up some justification for how the ship could withstand the pressures of the ocean, especially without snapping off those thin nacelles, the power required to lift such a mass out of the ocean into space would be incredible. Even worse, it wasn't necessary, since to hide the ship, all they needed to do was to stay in orbit. It was clear that the shot was a more example of, especially focusing on the next level is what he puts in this article is focusing on special effects. I think Outpost is still out. He's not back yet. I think he had an issue. I firmly believe that one of the reasons science fiction films are so popular for their special effects, whether it's spaceships or explosions or lasers or robots or aliens, special effects come into play um, most of the time these days. It's handled by CGI, and today it's AI also. But of course, in the past, filmmakers have used models or clay or matte work, and it's impressive. A lifelong reader of science fiction, I love seeing spaceships and warp drives in outer space and aliens and advanced technology portrayed on the screen. But that's not enough on its own. After Prometheus came out, people kept talking about how pretty the movie was and how beautiful the movie was. But it's stupid as hell to all the visuals, no matter how impressive It can't change that. Additionally, the focus in razzle dazzle means that the focus is often taken away from the characters. I am not an anti CG by all means, and I think it can be a great special effects moderation, but CGI heavy movies like Star Wars prequels tend to feel a bit lifeless after a while. Yeah, this person wrote it is totally right about this. And the reason is that if you look to the point that right now you have how can I put it? They're talking about bringing back Star Wars, the '70s version of it to theaters, remastered, of course, obviously with the original effects, which that was great at the time. I was, true God, 10 years old. I was 10 when that movie came out. And I sat on the line with my mom and my brother. We were online for a couple of hours. At the time period, there were no major multiplexes, and this was playing in our area. We had to go to Times Square. So I think it was the Gemini Twin Theater because Gemini Twin had two theaters on itself. It was like the one of the first of the had more than one theater in their complex. But you didn't see a 5 or 6 plex. So you had the lines. I mean, the lines went down the block. I mean, I got there. I was like, "Holy shit, are we going to see this movie tonight?" Because it just went down the block itself. To the point. PB says Sci-Fi got a new life in 2000 after The Matrix. Globally, Sci-Fi went mainstream, dumbed down for the masses, and set on Earth for everything. And current day, good science fiction now are very rare. Yeah, you're right about that. You are absolutely correct. Um, the next segments on here, focusing on the action. Don't get me wrong, I like action, but I don't like see anything wrong with it. But too often, action is used as a chief way to create drama or conflict. Elysium, for example, tries to play all kinds of social issues, but ends in conflict. Comes down to two men in power exoskeleton bashing each other, which that's true. The other half is the faulty world building and resulting in plot holes. As a science as a writer of science fiction, I recognize that the moment you start creating new worlds and advanced societies and new technology innovations, you start opening up these worlds up to scrutiny and questions. These can be overcoming with a little thought and some rigor. And you can even get away with some hand waving, but these kind of holes aggregate and can lead to the audience having too many questions if the film opens the door by positioning the technological innovations that changes the world. The viewer is going to walk through and start thinking about the ramifications of those changes, starting to throw a bunch of concepts together, and you open the door to far more questions. And even if you had thought all those questions through, you end up with a lot of plot holes. And then, of course, the biggest thing, too many cooks in the kitchen. It's no secret that big budget Hollywood movies have vast numbers of people involved in their creation. And because the budgets these days are in the order of tens of millions of dollars, at least the people are spending that money want to have their say in the movie is about. This often dilutes the essence of the movie. It is not uncommon to have multiple rewrites on a science fiction movie script. Any movie script, any TV script, you always get rewrites. Even when a script is final, the director might decide to change some things, or perhaps the high paid lead actor wants to alter the character or dialogue. See, yeah, and that's an issue. That's an issue to that point. And finally, dumb character syndrome. In many of these movies, characters do stupid and questionable things, and it's obvious that these things are only done to advance the plot. Sorry to pick on Prometheus yet again, but the movie was filled with this. Scientists visiting alien worlds remove their helmets and start poking around with potentially dangerous fauna without taking any precautions. at all. A corporate expedition goes in without security or weapons, as if no one could imagine that there could be some sort of kind of security system or even some creatures that might be running rampant inside the alien installation. Elysium is another offender. Aside from the things that just not make sense, another consequence of dumb character syndrome is that I can't really be invested in someone that I can start thinking and that deserves what they get. And a character that is an important aspect of any film, just because a movie is science fiction doesn't mean that it can get by with weak characters. Sometimes you can have weak characters in a show, in a movie or show to support supposedly. Sometimes it works out in your favor, and sometimes it goes against you to that point. And Outpost is not back yet, so he's probably having some issues, some technical issues. Hopefully, Snob will be in here very soon to pick up a bit, but I'm going to jump over to this. This is now understand the way this was correlated. This was put together, of course, through part of it was AI, the other half was through IMDb, through other resources to the point. Now, understand what we have here is the top end is US sci-fi movies made by Era, US theatrical releases only. Nothing to do with like during the 80s period, obviously the straight to video type eras, but those are not included in here. Of course, obviously anything outside the United States, United Kingdom, Japan, not included. That's the same thing with the sci-fi TV shows by Era, US scripted shows only. New series premiere. Now you're looking at it, and we'll start with the movies made by the Era. In the 1970s, you're talking about 77 films in total. Now, we may be off a little bit here and there, something we might be missing, but this is about what it is. Now, you see it goes up in the 1980s, obviously, because, you know, the 1970s, you were the beginning of the renaissance of filmmaking for the reason you had the Hays Code was deposed. Obscenity laws were pretty much kicked out of the, you know, because of all the lawsuits that were coming down upon that. Because, you know, I've talked about this on Man with the Show. They're trying to, you know, you have a senator in Indiana that's trying to rehash the obscenity laws. And with the obscenity laws, you're going to have some issues where, you know, they said, well, we're just trying to protect kids from the internet, but you're not protecting kids. You're censoring the internet. You're censoring streaming. You're censoring everything that you deem obscene, which is wrong. It would violate the Constitution. So in the 70s, like I said, you had the Renaissance. It was the beginning. You get into the 1980s. And hang on one second here. There we go, Snob. Hey.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. We just made it in, and we were just talking about this chart, basically about the movies made by Era on there. Now, it's not 100% accurate. It's accurate to the point for the information we got from IMDb. Also, we just lost Outpost Nerd. I don't know what happened. I lost him. So, but getting to this, as I said, 1980s, 101 science fiction movies. Then we get to the 90s, and we have a little bit more, 118. The 2000 era brings us 149. 2010 to 176. And then it begins to drop. Right now, currently, as of 2026, we've only had 60 science fiction films to date, which would make a total for that era to present day from 70s, 681. Now, looking at TV shows for that era.
That's 60s over 6 years. So you could probably extrapolate, well, I mean, it's, you know,
yeah,
by the end
like
of this era.
Like 100. I said, plus or minus. We didn't add straight to video in this on there, which would change the numbers drastically on that. We just went with the basic, just what was in the theaters, which would make more sense to that point. because
Yeah,
what we're
there's
talking about is
probably-
Hollywood itself.
Yeah,
Because you had so many
there's-
small studios in the 70s, the 80s, and 90s that basically made a lot of straight to direct to video on there that did very good for themselves, and some were like on that, and some others are called classics.
Yeah, I was going to say I think that direct to video would probably favor things like horror and sci-fi overall, right?
Right, correct.
But that's just my guess. I'm kind of just
Yeah, to that point. The next level is television shows. Like I said, we didn't include anything from overseas or anything to that nature. These are U.S. scripted shows only that had new series premieres. Okay. So in the 70s, we only had 10 science fiction shows. To the 80s, there were 14. 90s, 23. 38 by 2000. 2010, 65. And then again to 2020, the current up, because we're up to 2026, 42. Which brings us roughly around 192. It could be a little bit more to that point, but like these were the elements that I put onto this, onto the basics, because there's so much information when it comes to science fiction. I mean, I could have dove back to the 50s and 60s, and that drastically changed the numbers.
There's a bunch of sci-fi shows in the, especially a couple of British ones that we've talked about.
Yep.
Space 1999, that kind of. I think that was the 60s.
Oh yeah.
A bunch of different.
Yeah, Space 1999, UFO, which were both from the same studio.
Yeah, UFO. Yeah.
Yeah, there were great series on there. Then you had a lot of the BBC stuff that you don't really see out there. Some of them have been remade. One they haven't remade, and I'm surprised. I'm surprised the BBC hasn't tried to retouch on this. Then I'm talking now and watch what happens tomorrow. A sci-fi series called The Tripods, which was based on a great novel series. I don't know if you ever heard of that, Snob.
Is that like the Day of the Triffids?
No, this is basically more like War of the Worlds, but the aliens win.
Yeah, that's Day of the Triffids, isn't it?
No. Day of the Triffids is basically an alien spore that comes to Earth, and it starts to like grow into like these creatures and kill everybody trying to kill everybody on the planet. And because they came down on a meteor storm, a good chunk of the population was blinded because of that. So you had a bunch of people that were blinded.
I don't know. I think we got the different novel that I remember. But anyway.
Yeah, tripods. You saw it in the 80s, PB. This was 70s.
Oh no, you're right. That's that one. I must be thinking of something different.
Yeah, this is literally that they've dumbed down the human race. And the way they're doing it is that as the youths get to into their latter teenage, they're taken by the aliens and they're capped. In other words, they remove their artistic expression, their violent tendencies. All that has been rubbed out. Day of the Triffids was not Day of the Tripod, not the Tripod Snob. As PV.
Well, somebody's finally doing it. Thank goodness.
Yeah, but the Tripods was a really good series on there. It never really got finished. Unfortunately, they never got actually, it doesn't even have a physical media release. Mostly you see it on bootlegs out there. So it's never been really re-aired, and it's mostly bootleg out there. YouTube, you can catch a couple of episodes someone will upload it every once in a while, but this is one of the ones that's lost to history. It's still on YouTube. The other one is The Survivors, which is a really, you've heard this this type of subject matter before, but the BBC did it really good back then. Take and it kind of brings up to the point what happened during COVID also. A disease comes out of a laboratory in China and infects the entire planet, and it ends up killing 90% of the population. The few survivors that survive the plague basically are trying to live through everything. One great line in the series is, "Can we survive this? Can we reteach ourselves the things that we've lost that became more accommodating to us? Whereas we go to the store to buy clothing. Can we go back and learn how to weave the materials and stuff like that? Can we learn to because eventually power will unless someone knows how to run the power plants, you'll have to live on candles. Can we learn to live to manufacture candles again, to make that? Can we hand make tools again if we can't find the tools that we need, to that point on there?"
Yeah, I think PB's question here is quite interesting. Sci-fi getting a new life in the 2000s after the Matrix. I would be curious as to how, for example, TV shows, we go down to, let's say, the 90s, Stargate. How much of an effect did Stargate or huge TV shows that were very popular, and I think Stargate's a very good example, how they affected shows? Does that mean, maybe less shows would be made? Because this doesn't, talk about how long the show's gone on for or how popular it was. Would less shows be made if there's one really popular show like a Star Trek or a Stargate? Or would it encourage the networks to make more science fiction shows? Because this show is really popular. Let's make more.
Well, in the 90s, because like I said, from the 70s to the 90s, you had the Renaissance. And in the 90s, you had Warner and a lot of the others that were making all these shows. Of course, Babylon 5 on there, Cleopatra 2525, Stargate, Lex, Farscape, and many others that came out during that time period.
Yeah, Andromeda, just tons of them.
Andromeda, Earth Final Conflict. This is a whole mess of series that came out that propelled science fiction into the run. Even some of the superhero stuff. I mean, you wouldn't classify it as science fiction. You would classify more superheroes, but they had some science driven behind it. Obviously, like Knight Rider, Street Rider was the other one, or Street King, or it was on a motorcycle on the point. Mantis, which was it was African superhero that he used. He was in a wheelchair. He used technology to be able to fight crime.
Usually, often superhero stuff is put under action and fantasy before science fiction, but not always. It's
yeah, it depends on the depends on the
who's doing it.
Who's doing it, or how how much science is in it to that point. Like Knight Rider, because the car was technology. Would you consider that science fiction?
Oh yeah, I would say Knight Rider is for sure science fiction. Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean,
Street Hawk. Thank you, PB. Street Hawk was the one. Yeah,
it's an AI car, definitely. I mean, even in it would be you would be like even like Airwolf, Blue Thunder, which was the Airwolf was not as successful.
Right.
Same thing.
Well, it did get a TV series.
Oh yeah, both did.
Yeah, well, no, Airwolf was originally a series. Blue Thunder was a movie with Roy Scheider, and then it became a TV series. But it completely
Blue Thunder was originally a movie.
Blue Thunder was originally a movie. It was Roy Scheider and Malcolm McDowell, and then they made it to a TV series, and they just completely changed the whole plot line of the series.
Yeah, it didn't do as well. Airwolf is the one that's more remembered, but
Airwolf is always more remembered. Lately, Blue Thunders, because they've remastered Blue Thunder. They're remastering the movie version on there, and I think that's coming out this fall.
I think it's probably the Airwolf theme song is what makes it.
Oh yeah,
I can still remember it.
Yeah, they always said Airwolf versus Blue Thunder, which would be the better, and it's like, come on, really?
Yeah, well, Airwolf was more military, and the Blue Thunder was more of a police helicopter, I think.
No, it was military. It was a military copter. It was a military copter.
Didn't they call it Blue Thunder because it was the police?
No. They sold it to the police department to try out.
Right.
But the plot of the movie is that there were those in the government that were trying to use it to sort of quell situations that for rioting and stuff like that. People rioted because a politician was coming out, was finding out about this, and they were murdered. It was like there's a whole scheme behind it. But the original concept of the Blue Thunder, that it was military applications readapted to be used as a police chopper.
Yeah, Americans are always rioting, so you kind of need.
You got to remember, it's a 60 millimeter cannon on the front of the chopper.
You need some chain guns to sort of
60
riot stuff out.
Yeah, it was 60 millimeter cannon on the front. You also had stealth mode, which basically the helicopter, you hit the stealth mode and you can't even hear it coming. So it just literally was silent on there. And then, of course, it had heavy surveillance tools. Basically you could see through windows and
police,
infrared and all that.
Yeah, more towards the police aspect of it.
Yeah. Oh, there's a movie you got to see now.
I'm pretty sure I did see it. I just don't remember. It was,
I had gotten tickets to it
years ago.
Yeah, the studio that was behind it sent us free tickets. I got to see it for free. So
a lot of these I would have seen on VHS afterwards as well.
Yeah,
as a kid.
Yeah. You missed the article that I was talking about because it was because the article that I was talking about there, that the guy made the premise to the point that there's a lot issues in science fiction. Dumb character syndrome, too many cooks in the kitchen, faulty world building resulting in plot holes, focusing on action, focusing on special effects, ignoring the science part. Like he used Elysium and what was the other movie? It was Prometheus as examples.
Oh yeah.
To that point, because Elysium could have been on paper, like you said, on paper it could have been really good. It was a Blomkamp movie, talking about immigration and being poor and all that, and they took it and just went insanely in 5 different directions.
Yeah, I saw Elysium.
Yeah,
it wasn't that bad, but it was.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't that bad, but it. For a science fiction movie, it wasn't the greatest science fiction movie in the world.
It was interesting.
Chappie was more interesting.
From
the same director. I enjoyed Chappie.
District 9 was.
And District 9. I would love to see a sequel to District 9. Yeah.
There's
District
been rumors of
best.
District 10.
Yeah.
A long time.
They've been talking about it for years that they need to do District 10.
Do it. They should.
Chappie. What I liked about Chappie is that ending where they were able to, move the human mind into the machine.
Yeah,
it's almost like Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, that movie never really sat with me as well as, like I said, like District 9. It was just a little too, happy-go-lucky or whatever. Just everything all wrapped up, and then at the end, and I'm just like, oh.
Well, I think it was supposed to
didn't hit as hard.
Because there are some elements, there's some cutscenes that are just that add on to it to that point at the end. Especially they were bringing back the girl that died, mommy. He was like, my mommy, I'm bringing back my mommy. Bring her back to life. What's going to happen now? They sort of like the cutscene is sort of like it's becoming to a point where Chappie has expanded, throughout Australia. And they have to call in like the United States and other countries to just quell. They don't have enough troops to quell the robots because they're continuing to manufacture themselves.
Yeah. So
it's almost like a Matrix type situation. The robots are just progressing further to the point. But I enjoyed it. Like I said, I have the box set. All 3 movies in the box set. On that, I got it a good price.
It was.
And if those of you who just came in, I just found out recently, if you're interested in Babylon 5 box set Blu-ray, $54 right now on Amazon. And same thing with Lord of the Rings. The trilogy is in the same price range. Yeah, right now.
That's right. It's Amazon Prime Day for the next 3 more days.
$54. That's the lowest price Babylon 5 Blu-ray has ever ran. To that point.
That is super cheap.
Super, super cheap. super cheap.
But
But
I got mine for 59 or 58 or something, a little bit more than that. That was a good deal at the time too.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you're seeing now with Hollywood with what's going on with the Stargate situation and the Doctor Who situation. You know, you have Stargate right now. You have a lot of people that are protesting, including the actors. You know, Michael Shanks, Rachel Littell, I think is her name. She was in Atlantis. A couple of other people. I mean, even what's his name? What's his name from Terminator 2? That was in Atlantis. He's also been talking about it as of late. That they need to do this with this production. Amazon did it wrong, but Amazon doesn't want to make a fan series. They don't want the fans. They want the made for the modern era fans, which is nothing. It's a minuscule like that. There's a minuscule people.
I can't believe they haven't learned their lesson yet. Like
the amount of money that they've been pumping into these series and movie. Disclosure Day, and we'll talk about it in the next half. Disclosure Day, look at it. It's 62% drop on the second week. Is it going to survive in the third week? I don't think so.
62 is, it's a high end, but 70 is really high. Like
really high, but still, I mean, surprisingly, if you look at the other, we'll talk about it. The YouTuber movies, they did a hell of a lot better, even though they were in third and fourth place.
Yeah, I think Disclosure Day is a bit of a mixed bag. It's got, it's not getting that word of mouth, that obsession or background. Oh, anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Sorry,
we're getting ahead of ourselves here on that.
Yeah,
but like I said, and I always turn people back. It says if you don't see good science fiction now, go back and watch some old stuff. Pick up some stuff.
Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff coming out on Criterion. There's a lot of stuff that's coming out on various formats right now. Physical media is massive. That they're bringing out fantasy films, science fiction films. That stuff, some of it wasn't available before.
And if you can look, if you are of an age where you don't need the most perfect, special effects, then you can really get by. And we used to get by with not the perfect special effects in the past anyway. So you should be able, anyone who really likes science fiction should be able to just go, all right, the special effects are not up to modern standards in this movie or TV show, but that's fine, right? It's more of what's going on and the concepts and stuff like that. And of course, the ultimate is always read novels. And you don't have to worry about
there's decades. Some great stuff. There's decades of great science fiction novels
and
that are sitting in Barnes and Noble and in libraries, out there.
And those are the ones
world.
I try to highlight. Stuff before the year 2000.
Yep.
That's the stuff 50s to 2000s. That's the kind of stuff I grew up with.
You have to remember in our youth, because I'm almost 60. In my youth, we were at Forbidden Planet comic book store, and they had the books, got the novels, the science fiction novels we would pick up. We would see like, oh, that's a cool cover. What's it about? And you read the back, and you're like, I'm buying this one.
Yeah, there's some great stories, great authors.
Yeah, the thing about it, it's like, oh, excuse me. It's like they said, what's her name over, at Disney, and she's like, well, there's not enough Star Wars information out there or novels and stuff like bullshit. There's been tons of it for years. You just choose that you want to create your own political version of Star Wars, and you've ruined it. You've destroyed it. The same thing with Doctor Who, what they've done with it. They've bastardized Doctor Who. Doctor Who was a family, fun stuff for kids that, it scared kids a bit back in the day, but it was still fun. It was a good story. The special effects were cheesy, but it was still a good story. Written by great writers. including the great Douglas Adams wrote a couple of episodes.
Yeah. Well, kids used to be scared back in the day. I mean,
Yeah.
look at Star Wars, very popular kids movies. Kids of 7 are watching it, and you've got arms getting chopped off in the first movie by lightsabers. Darth Vader is probably one of the top scariest villains, especially for kids, right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
We didn't pull our punches back then as much.
Yeah, no. And the thing is, we said it, and I said this on Jason's stream on the chat. You have all these great directors and stuff like that, and you know where they came from? They came from Roger Corman's school of film. We don't have that now. We don't have someone saying, "Okay, I'm going to make some cheap stuff, and I'm going to hire you to do it. You seem to be, talented. Let me see what you can do." And now, most of them are, retiring now. Or getting away from Hollywood itself because they can't make the films that they used to. I mean, hell, freaking Disclosure Day, they rolled out John Williams. How old's John Williams now? In his 90s?
Yeah, I thought he retired.
Yeah, I thought he retired too.
They got him to do one more.
To get one more shot on that. But, no offense to John Williams.
Too bad. I like
great
him.
Composer, but I think there's a ton of other great composers out there too that could have used.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, you had what's his name that did all the Tim Burton stuff that used to be in that band Oingo Boingo. I can't think of his name. Yeah, he's done music for quite some time. He's a great composer on there. Hang on, let me look it up right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, while you're looking that up,
hold on.
I gotta talk, I guess.
Yeah, hang on.
I mean, I would say the only other composer,
Danny Elfman.
Elfman. Oh, Danny Elfman. Yeah. Well, he's mostly he's more TV shows. Like he's all kinds of.
He did movies.
80s, 90s, 2000s. He's like every other TV show is done by him. Yeah, I mean he's done movies too. The only other, the other guy I would put on John Williams' level would probably be Hans Zimmer, but I don't like him as much.
Somewhat, no. He has his style, but as of late, his stuff hasn't been up to par.
I don't like him as much, but he's probably the other one that I would think of.
No.
And Danny Elfman, but like Danny Elfman, like I said, more into the TV stuff. Every other TV show in the 80s and 90s was scored by him.
Yeah. So, yep, that's what's going on. Obviously, we got the box office coming up, but hey, it's top of the hour. Guess what time it is?
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah. Yes, that's right. It's another edition of the Asylum Moment. As you can see here, we have a picture of the great Stanley Kubrick. It's made some of the greatest films of all time. 2001, Clockwork Orange, and many others. Well, they're about to do him a big tribute. He's about to release. Criterion Collection is about to release 30 of his films into one box set.
30.
30 of his films, including from 2001 to Eyes Wide Shut. And it's all in one box office, remastered and all that. All the extras, bells and whistles and all that. So I have to ask you, this box set, what do you think it would cost?
$5.
$5 wish.
$1 million.
No, not that much.
All right,
actually,
500.
manufacturers
500. You want to 500? I'm going to say
manufacturer suggested retail is $600. Is on sale right now, pre-order for $479.96 on Criterion. This will be
30
out.
movies for $500. Let's say. I mean, that's how much per movie. Carry the 3. Well, 450 is easier to do. 150, 5. No, 6. That's 10 for $150. It's $15 a film. That's that's relatively good price for a Blu-ray. Most of them are about 20. Is that about right?
That's about right. And let's see.
20 to 25 for a Blu-ray of a modern movie, like something that's brand new.
Welcome back, Outpost.
What's up? It's not.
Hey,
So well, I'm trying to get the list right now. All the movies that is in this box set. Hang on one second. Where are we here?
so I guess that's a reasonable price, right? $15 a movie, roughly, at the sale price.
Let me
It'd be
see
$20
here.
a movie at the regular price, right? 600. So
Let's see.
that's not a great deal, but
And you'll get free delivery because it's over $50.
yeah, it's better than a kick in the teeth.
Yeah. So the movies that'll be in this box set will be 1955's Killer Kiss, 56's The Killing, 57 Paths to Glory, 1960's The Spartacus, 62's Lolita, 64 Doctor Strangelove, obviously 2001 Space Odyssey, Clockwork Orange, of course 1975's Barry Lyndon, 1980's The Shining, 87's Full Metal Jacket, and 1999's Eyes Wide Shut.
That's not 30.
all-
Is it 30 discs or is
30
it 30?
discs. 30 discs.
Oh, so it's not 30 movies, it's 30 discs.
Well, the variations on the movies.
And there'll be extra. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. They like on the Lolita, the screen test with James Mason and Sue Lyon. And the behind the scenes of Full Metal Jacket, obviously.
So it sounds like a great if you're a Kubrick fan, obviously you'll get a lot of
It's
behind
4K
the stuff.
restored, with a lot of the shorts on there. Behind the scenes of The Shining, also newly recorded commentary tracks with Lee Urich, who's the editor of the book of Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, and Michael Benson, Space Odyssey author, making of a masterpiece. There's like a lot. Looking at it on here, there's a lot of extras. A lot of extras for this. But it's like $600 is the manufacturer's price on it, and you can get it for $479. I think I'll wait till it comes down a bit. It'll probably most likely come further down. It's like same thing that happened with the Godzilla box set. Like my wife got it not at full price. She got it at a good sale price for like $100. It was really good to that point. But that's our asylum this week. Crazy prices on the internet. Wait till we see what we got coming next on that. I'm working on some insane videos that are coming for Asylum, out there. So now that Outpost is back, we can continue on forward completely with the box office. That's right. We got the box office, which was no surprise. I mean, did you guys predict that it would come to this level?
I mean, I kind of figured that Toy Story would, be top of the heap. I think that's pretty. That was a pretty easy prediction. I'm kind of surprised. Obsession and Backroom still doing well.
It's
3 and 4.
very well.
Like it's wow. Better than Scary Movie. I'm I don't know, surprised.
I mean, they're already in the black. They're well in the black.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's incredible.
I think
those are really doing really well from word of mouth. Even better.
And then Scary Movie.
Scary Movie was down, in my opinion.
Yeah. Hang on a second. Yes, Scary Movie's dropping. And what was it? Oh God, I didn't have it up here. Hold on a minute. Let me just bring up the numbers. Box office numbers. I had it up here a minute ago. Let's see. Where are we? There we go. There's the chart. Going a little bit beyond this, Masters of the Universe did another 6 million, which basically 57 million US on there. What was it worldwide? 102 worldwide currently. Star Wars, Mandalorian and Grogu still dropping. 4 million over the weekend. Total 329. I think somebody said that they have to hit 500 million.
Yeah, the predictions for that are about overall are like 320. That was what the 320 to 350 was what the internet YouTubers were saying, the big guys.
Right. And then what is it? The revisionist movie, The Death of Robin Hood with Hugh Jackman, did just 2 million, which it hasn't opened overseas yet, which probably will not do well. That's a
No
new
one wants
new
to
one.
see an old geriatric Robin Hood.
It's been redone. It's not toward the original story. They just
I don't care if it's been redone. I care about what the product they give. It's not what people want.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
Hold
it's
on.
literally. Yeah, go ahead. Go
We
ahead.
want to see a young Robin Hood, a young heroic figure. We don't want to see an old geriatric, self-pitying old man. I love Hugh Jackman, but not even he could save this movie, in my opinion.
Well, you didn't see Robin and Marion, which was a really good film. This is from years ago with oh god, I forgot the cast on there too.
I think
that was
I
with
think Outpost is right. People
Sean
are tired
Connery.
of these deconstructed heroes where they're all
Yeah.
losers and washed up and old and fumbling about, and they need their daughter.
That's why I
to
said
save them or
revisionist
something.
history. Revisionist history.
Yeah, I think everyone's tired of that.
Yeah. Then of course Leviticus, which we talked earlier. Me and Outpost talked earlier. This one is sort of a how can I say LGBTQ or whatever movie on there about gay conversion. And the other one in the same quality, in the same genre, is Girl Like Girls. Both of them did about Girls Like Girls did 1.5. Leviticus did 2.6 for a horror film, which is really bad. On to the point, but of course, it's the subject matter. But the big number here is the Michael Jackson movie. Still doing numbers on there. It's currently at 368 US, 571. It's done better internationally. So they I think probably, if not by this weekend, probably by the holiday weekend, it'll hit the $1 billion mark.
Yeah. So we were right about the Star Wars one. It dropped about 600. Dropped to 2,000 theaters. I think I was saying 600 plus, like around somewhere between 17 and 2,000. I think I was thinking 1,900, but 2,000 dropped a lot of theaters.
Right. And I mean, Toy Story 5 was like 4,000 theaters. Obviously on there. But here's the thing that you have to take for granted on this. When you look at the numbers in itself within all 5 Toy Stories, not knocking on this one, that it's going to do very well to the point. But when you bring the numbers, tickets and everything to present day numbers, Toy Story 5 is down compared to Toy Story 3. Toy Story 3 would be on top as selling the most tickets, rounding off the numbers to that point. Even though Toy Story 4 did a little bit more on the domestic open gross. But Toy Story 3 was the bigger number as far as ticket sales and the amount of tickets sold to that point.
Yeah, Toy Story 4 was a bad movie.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Yeah. So basically, like I said, not knocking on Toy Story 5 on their success, but still it's lower than Toy Story 3.
Yeah, I don't think that's surprising. Toy Story 4 was not good, and everyone knows it. And the first three movies are excellent, and then they just shot themselves in the foot. That one was really bad. To go from great great movies to that stinker. I think there'll be a little bit of and the buzz has been a little bit off and on. Like it's been a bit. Mostly
Toy
positive,
Story-
I think, but
Toy Story has gone from the wide-eyed childhood wonderment of the first two, and slowly has become female empowerment, yay, at the expense of every other character. It's fallen into that same trap we're getting in almost every other genre. Because Toy Story 4 was what Bo Peep also she's the strong wild woman, don't need Woody no more, when she was the love interest for Woody the first two movies. It's just they're pushing agenda and over good stories. And the last two, and I'm not holding my breath for this one. It's going to be the same crap because it's all about Jesse in this one.
Well, no, there's a lot of things I heard from this. Like, for example, when Jesse kisses Buzz, Buzz lifts his leg up.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
yeah,
exactly.
the word is that it's basically the Jesse Show, and Woody
You
and
see it in the
Buzz
commercials.
are pushed to the back, and they're actually in the movie a lot less than your impression is because of based on the trailers.
And I'm not talking about the movie commercials. I'm talking about the food crossovers, the toy crossovers, anything that has Toy Story involved in it in the commercial. It's like Jesse's up in front.
Yeah.
And Buzz and Woody don't say a single word in the whole thing. Some people say in certain points they push Buzz and Woody into the background on this one. I haven't seen it yet, but this is what everybody's been saying.
Surprising because
even though
those
the
two
plot,
guys are the key of the series.
even though the plot is feasible to this era, that technology versus toys,
yeah,
to the point on there. Wait, what was that? Party Stars Rex is the cab. Party Stars Rex fight me.
That one was awesome. I loved those little Party Source Rex was fun. I loved the Buzz Lightyear cartoon show they had when I was a kid.
Yeah,
It was
this is classic toys, and you're bringing technology in, and obviously technology has taken over from some of the toys to that point. Stuff like Lego and all that has become more of a collector's gimmick to the point.
No, Legos are nothing but advertisements nowadays.
Yeah, that now it's advertised, but before it was massive, collectors. What can I build with it? Some guys were making some really cool stuff with their Legos, to that point.
But isn't this Toy Story? Isn't this story the same as Toy Story 3, where the toys are being replaced? Except then it was a cell phone, right? And he was getting older, and he was hanging out with his cell phone.
It was the same thing in Toy Story 1. It was like Woody was the new toy. I mean, not Woody. Buzz was the new toy, the space toy, and he was replacing Woody.
Yeah, at least he was getting replaced by another toy.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same story to the point on there. But I think consciously, we've had our fill of Toy Story. I think they should let it go. At this point,
Hollywood doesn't know when to quit.
Set it on a freaking iceberg adrift. At this point, you're making the money, but technically, you're not filling the seats like you did before. Because you have to put to the point is that How much does the ticket cost today? Between $15 to $25, depending on whether it's IMAX, not IMAX,
Yeah.
4X, whatever the freaking that's in the theaters these days. You're paying more now than when Toy Story 3 came out, and still Toy Story 3 put out more bodies in the seats.
Well, I went and saw the last Superman movie last summer, and it cost me like $20 for just a regular showing.
For how much did you pay?
About between 15 and 20. That's not. I didn't buy any concessions. I bought the ticket.
Mm.
And this was a movie theater I worked at one summer, and like I remember going in. I hadn't been in there in a couple of years, and they'd replaced the box office with machines. It's ridiculous. The whole industry in life support.
Yeah, no, it is. It is ridiculous. Like I said again, Obsession, Backrooms. That's the headline. Yes, Toy Story made 312 worldwide, but Obsessions and Backrooms have already stayed their course. Obsession, this is what week what?
It's like a month and a half.
38 days in release. Backrooms is 24 days in release.
It's about a month average for both of them.
Month average for both these movies, and still they're grossing. They're heavily into the black. I think what is it? The Obsession director, he's getting a major deal from a studio now. Big dollars now. To that point. Now you may ask yourself, what about this weekend? Well, here's what's coming out this weekend.
This will be very interesting.
This is going to be interesting. First, of course, which we are. I don't know if you saw it yet, Snob. I know Outpost saw the video from Chris Gore, Supergirl, which Chris Gore really slammed.
That's Film Threat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, they saw it already. I think today.
They saw it. They posted last night. They saw it.
Yeah, it was last night. It was yesterday.
Tuesday night at midnight.
Last night? Okay.
I watched it last night.
Yeah, but they said it was awful. It was the Millie Acock, whatever the hell you pronounce her name, that she was wrong for the role. That was the first thing that Chris said. And it said she didn't deserve this role. She wasn't really good for this role. And the concept and everything. It's just it wasn't a Superman. I mean, a Supergirl movie, and they still pushing that concept that Superman was sent to Earth to conquer Earth.
Yeah, he really hammered that. He really hammered it. Like
they hammered that in.
Profoundly awful, I think, is the quote that he mentioned. I mean, that's
this whole version of Superman is pure.
Hey, Gap After Dark, how you doing?
This whole version of Superman is utter horseshit. This whole DC version is horseshit. None of the superheroes are likable. Of course, you did have Guy Gardner, who's supposed to be a dick, but Mr. Terrific is not supposed to be an arrogant asshole. Bitch, you're the third smartest person in the world. That there, and he was acting like his shit didn't stink.
Once again,
killed somebody.
Justice League animated series, much better.
Oh yeah,
Mr. Terrific in that version.
And in Injustice, the version in Injustice was amazing. I love the scene where Superman comes to him. I want to use your T spheres for gun control, and he's like, they're playing a game of chess, and he's explaining why it wouldn't work, and he ends up like getting checkmate on Superman, and he's like, the answer is no.
Yeah, Gap After Dark says I refuse to watch Discount Superman after all the
and David
reviews. Yeah, I don't blame.
He's a great actor. He's a great actor. I've seen him in a few other things, but I hate this. Oh shucks, I'm Superman, guys. How are you all doing today? I hate that. Oh, I'm such a jerk.
They've cut the balls, the masculinity.
And I'm sorry.
Yeah, they've cut masculinity.
Mom, Pa should have a Midwest Kansas accent. Pa Kent should not be a fucking blubbering crybaby. I hated it.
Nope.
Looking back, I at the time I enjoyed it, but looking back, the political overtones were just in your fucking face.
Mhm.
It's just
Yeah. And then also out this weekend is the last Jackass movie.
you're too fucking old.
Jackass the best in the last. Yeah, considering how hard it is for them to get insurance for this movie. Yeah, Outpost, you're an out. It sounds like you're an
War
Auburn
fucking
fan.
Eagle.
Yeah, it says.
This was the thing. He saw me in my hat last night during my show, and he got me ranting about my Auburn Tigers.
Yeah. The other one is a thriller drama from A24. Obviously, A24 is Backrooms also. The Invite. Then Vertical Entertainment is releasing something called Couture. And then another movie called Lucky Strike that's also coming out, but it's a wide limited release. An indie is Welcome to the Jungle. And then finally, the 85th anniversary. Of course, it's probably going to be New York, LA. Re-release, remaster of Citizen Kane.
That ain't leaving up the art houses.
Yeah, that's going to the art. Well, it's Third Man did, what was it? Last weekend, was it? It was $20,000 in New York and LA, 2 theaters.
Not good.
That's not bad for 2 theaters. It's sitting on there. But that's this weekend on there. So we'll see what, if anything, I'm going to say Toy Story probably will end up staying on top.
It's a Pixar movie. It's got
the
Disney power behind it. It's not going anywhere for a while.
Right. Scary movie is going to come off the top. Most likely, Supergirl will probably be in here. Depends on who gets knocked down further, how much it does. Does Disclosure Day get knocked out of the top 5? Jackass will probably be in the top 5.
Well, Supergirl's predicted to be, in the sort of the 30 to 50, high 30s to low 50s range. So based on that, it would put it number 2 on this chart. Right. But
but every day it seems like the numbers keep dropping.
Yeah, but it's basically opening, now.
It's opening day. Give it some time.
So I think it'll probably, it's probably guaranteed to be number 2. I don't know that Toy Story is going to drop from 160 million to less than 50 million. So I think it's probably a foregone conclusion that.
No, I think it's going to continue on straight into the holiday weekend of 4th of July. I think it will stay in the top 5. Will it stay number 1? I think it will be number 1 this weekend. I believe so. To the amount of theaters that it's in, 4,000 theaters nationwide on there, and then the worldwide numbers also on top of it. I think it will stay in the number 1 position.
And I think kids movies tend to do better, for longer because parents aren't like. They're like, I can't take it this week. You'll have to wait, So, they're not like teenagers or 20-somethings who are like, I'm going to go the first day because I can do whatever I want. So,
now here's the scary part of the situation. Obsessions in Backroom. Could you imagine? Here is a possible prediction. You say Supergirl about 30 to 40 million, maybe
high 30s to low 50s,
if anything. Yeah, if it does that. What in the other point of view that it doesn't garner that, and either Obsession or Backrooms ends up in the second place?
I don't see how. I mean, I can't imagine it going lower than. First of all, these 2 movies at 14 million and 7 million, I can't see them going. It's likely that they're probably going to go down a little bit, but let's say they do go up. They're going to go up a little bit, right? They're not going to go. Supergirl making less than $14 million, that would be a disaster of epic proportions. I mean, they're saying 39 to 55 or 51. So to go and be like at 14, half of that would be, that would be just that complete disaster.
Remember where Masters of the Universe is at this point.
It's
only 102 worldwide. And considering that Masters of the Universe has better reviews than Supergirl.
Yeah, but it's not DC. It's
Oh, I know, but I'm still, if to the point, um, Gap After Dark, I would like to see that Supergirl disaster at epic proportions you mentioned. Yeah, it's maybe that's what it need. Uh, Warner needs to see
but
just for this to
we got to be
blow up
realistic though.
and just
I mean, you can hope.
we can
can
be
hope,
realistic. We
but
can
you gotta
be
be
realistic. But how many films this year have literally they said, "Wow, it's going to make this amount and make this amount," and it just failed.
Yeah, but it's. I mean, like I said, they're predicting like 39 to 51 or something. And I mean, this is the day before the movie basically opens today. They have pre-sale tickets. They've got their algorithms. They're fairly accurate about this stuff. I mean, they've been downgrading it as they've gone along for sure, but it's the day before. I mean, if they're that bad at predicting, then someone's going to get fired at the analytics. Some of the analytics guys are going to get fired. So I
Cam goes by my Warner stock.
I don't think it'll be. It's hope all you want, but they can't. You gotta be realistic.
I know. It may end up. Supergirl may end up in the second position. It could end up.
Oh,
but
I think it's.
What if it doesn't? Could you
I think
imagine
it's
that?
guaranteed to be at least in second. And I don't see how those other two movies could move up to eclipse it.
You got to
Well,
realize the advertisements
Stranger-
behind some of these movies, Toy Story and Supergirl, that these other movies do not have.
Yeah.
The name recognition. That's all they're going to be coasting on.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
all
so-
that a lot of directors and writers coast on is the how many people are going to go see the movies just because it has Supergirl plastered on it.
So yeah, I mean, I agree. Obsession in the Back Room dropped 30% and 38% respectively. From the week before. So I mean, I think you could expect that kind of drop somewhere like that. I think it would be crazy for them to. They've both been out for over a month for one and 3+ weeks for the other. It would be very, very unlikely for them.
Obsession is still a record breaker.
It doesn't
sure, but-
matter.
It is-
But it's not likely to. They're not likely to go above what
franchises, Madman.
Yeah, they're not gonna.
It's not franchises. Listen to me.
DC
What
isn't a
people
franchise.
want to see
Okay.
new stuff. How much? Let me ask you this: of these movies that you're seeing up on the screen here, which one have you seen the most advertisement for,
Toy Story.
and that are
Toy
franchise?
Story.
Okay, right, exactly. Still, Obsession. You don't see ads for Obsession that much, other
You're
than
missing.
maybe something on X or something like that. Same thing with Back
Yeah,
Room.
but the thing is those
And they still were able to
of
garnish
course, and
the amount to be still in the
and
top
they're doing
five.
great for sure. But the point is that they got their they started out low and they got bounced from word of mouth. Most of the people who have heard that word of mouth, it's been 3 to 4 to 5 weeks. Those people have already seen the movie, which is why you're seeing both of those movies drop by around 30% ish from last week. Right, there was a couple of weeks where they actually went up. Right, like from the first to the second week, they were weekly change was positive, which is a very rare thing for movies. But that was because of the word of mouth. But now that word of mouth is over, so now you're going to see them drop slowly. I mean, 30% drop is that's still pretty good considering disclosure dated 60%, and I think the Mandalorian was 69% from its first to second week. So they're doing great for sure. But I just think you're fooling yourself if you think that those numbers that they've got right now, those are going to drop next week. And
I have a prediction.
I don't know by how much, but if you're doing 14 million on Obsession, there's no way that Supergirl is going to get less than that. Like I said, they're predicting 39 to 51, and it opens tomorrow. They're going to be pretty close on that.
I have a prediction. Next week we're going to see Obsession and Backrooms maybe be at 3 or 4, respectively, or maybe even 4 and 5. And I think, or maybe Jackass is going to replace Scary Movie, and number 2 will be fucking Supergirl. Toy Story ain't going anywhere.
No,
Yeah,
no.
I mean, I think that's the general.
Respectfully,
And this
no, Toy
holiday
Story-
bump, I think it's too late. If it, you Gap, these 2 movies have been out for a month.
Well, the holiday bump is next.
week.
Yes,
Yeah.
but
Next, not
it's
this
too
weekend,
late.
but next
The
weekend.
people-
Fourth
The
of
people who
July.
want to
Fourth,
see these 2 movies have already seen them.
if you're on,
Okay.
remember it's a longer weekend.
I don't
Yeah, but-
care if it's
No,
a
no, no,
month
no, no. Hear me out.
Sundays.
It's generally longer weekends when it comes theatrically tend to do better money on certain films. For the reason is people are looking for
I'm not
something.
listening.
Okay,
If they don't have something that's out there that's good, they're going to go back and catch something they didn't catch before, or catch the movie again. Because we got to remember, Backrooms
Well,
is coming to streaming as far as pay-per-view. I think in the next 2 weeks.
Okay,
So
but
after
you know
the
what's coming
holidays, I
out-
think you'll see
What's coming
Backrooms.
out on the 1st of July?
Oh, it's the first now. Oh, okay.
What's coming out on the 1st of July? Minions
That's-
and Monsters.
Minions and Monsters.
So that weekend, the Minions movie comes out, and that's very popular as well. There's not, that is going to start. Toy Story and the Minions will be fighting it out.
Let me see. Let me look up
for
4th
top
of July.
spot there. So
I think it's going to be around 4th of July. It's going to be Toy Story, Minions, Supergirl, maybe Obsessions and Backrooms still hold on. And I think maybe off like 6 or 7 will be Jackass.
I would generally agree, but except I would switch Toy Story and Minions. I think Minions will be first by then.
Yeah.
Because there'll be 2 weeks. You've got 2 weekends as Toy Story, and I think Minions it's got a good buzz. People like that whole thing. There's no talk about it being the Jesse show. I think the buzz is overall more positive. I think it'll push Toy Story out for sure. But I mean, there might be. I mean, I agree. There could be a holiday bump for those 2, for Obsessions and Backers, but they're not going to. A bump from 14 and 7 million is not going to. They're not going to be big enough to push. See a
4th of
little
July
less
weekend.
of a
There's
fall.
only 2 movies coming out.
What
It's
movies?
Minions and Monsters, and an Asian flick from Indica Pictures called Swallowtail and Dragonfly.
So
Which is
basically,
limited. It's a limited release. So those are the only 2 movies for that week that opens. Actually, technically, officially, Minions and Monsters is opening July 1st.
okay. I just don't see Obsession and Backrooms staying on in the top 5 much longer.
No, they're
Yeah,
going away. They're going to be going away soon, obviously. But I think it's going to go into July. I think they're going to make it into July, a little bit into early July, and then drop off.
In the top 5.
Possibly.
Is that what you're saying?
Obsession, I expect. Obsession of anything of the 2 movies. Obsession, I expect to stay in the top 5 at least. Because Obsession has had the bigger bite of the apple per se, as far as the response from people who have gone to see this movie. And Hollywood is already pulling the red carpet out for this director. So they're looking for either a sequel or a separate movie to that entity. And remember, there are other YouTubers that are going to be coming out with their films in the next several months. I mean, we're getting a bump back on Blair Witch Project, which is being done by a YouTuber. What was the other ones on there? There is the video game one that's coming, that they're doing a R-rated video game animated movie based on the video game. That's coming. And then there's the Winnie the Pooh Part 3, which there's a YouTuber being involved in that one as well. Now, obviously, Winnie the Pooh 3 ain't going to be doing any of these type of numbers, but it'll make bank. This what is it? The Fairy Tale Universe, whatever they're calling it right now, because you have all these films, Pinocchio, Bambi, all that's being drawn into one universe. For those horrors on there. And surprisingly, I'm surprised Sheep Detective didn't do as good as the people were saying
Come
that.
on, that is such an idiotic concept. I'm sorry. I mean,
Really?
Hugh Jackman needs to pick his movies better. Holy shit!
I thought kids would like that.
Yeah, I
It's
thought kids
not a
would like that
kids
too.
movie. It hasn't been. It wasn't advertised as a kids movie.
Talking Sheep.
Solving a murder.
You
Well,
you
they're
you've had you had Sherlock Mouse Holmes, to,
is
What?
back
there
in the day.
the sheep's
Great
owner
Mouse
writes
Detective.
mystery movies? Is that how they?
No, not the Great Mouse Detective. No, that's a different movie. There was another one that was like it had a play on the words of Sherlock Holmes, but as a mouse. So it was different
This is
from
the
the Great
Great
Mouse
Mouse
Detective.
Detective.
No, there was another one from another studio that was made. The
The
Great
Great
Mouse
Mouse
Detective
Detective
was the
was
bigger
literally an
was the bigger
animated
of the two.
movie from Disney. These movies, I think if they would have maybe advertised it as a kid, oh, bring your kids to see the talking sheep, solve a mystery, then it probably would have been better. But it's so stupid. The way they've gone about it is so stupid. Hugh Jackman, you're better than this. Pick better movies.
What better movies is out there in Hollywood? But here's one thing that I don't think anybody has been talking about yet. Super Mario Galaxy movie has already passed the $1 billion mark.
That's not surprising. That was a great movie.
Wow.
And they're going to get a sequel on that. And of course, I think it's Outpost Total, Stop That Train, 3.5 million. Considering that was like a $25 million budget on that.
Well, they all can't be hits, right?
Devil Wears Prada is almost at the $700 million mark. I know. Why did they make a sequel? Why did
It
they
seemed
make
like the first movie was very complete.
Well, like I said, Michael is going to be the big thing to look at also this week. Either this weekend or the weekend after, because it's going to hit that $1 billion mark.
Mm-hmm.
For the amount for I mean it's doing well. I mean, it's still doing well. I mean, how many theaters? What is it on there?
60 days. It's been 1,400.
About 60 days, and it's still in 1,400 theaters, U.S.
That's pretty
And
good.
it's only
People
down
like it.
49%. You know what that means?
That's week over week.
Repeat customers. You got people going back for a second or third showing. Even though it's just only 2 million, it's still, and going down the line on a lot of these, it's like, wow, there's some movies that didn't do well here. What was this movie? Jimpa?
They've set up Super Mario Galaxy for a sequel, so I'm wondering what they're going to call it. So,
And then we have a Sonic movie coming too, right?
A fourth one. God, they are awful.
But they still made money.
I don't care if it makes money. I care about it being good.
I know that. But at least they made money.
I will tell you what I want Sonic wise. Do you remember Sonic that this I don't y'all are probably too young. In the 90s there was a Sonic the
I'm
Hedgehog.
too young?
Y'all are like what y'all were in high school or college in the 90s?
Oh, I was in college, yeah.
But
Well, actually, I was out of trade school. I was just out of trade school already.
I was in elementary school in the 90s, y'all. I'm the baby in the group. Jaleel White, who did Urkel, did a cartoon series with Sonic the Hedgehog, and it was amazing.
Yeah,
They did
it's on what the hell is it called?
Tubi.
No, not only Tubi. It's on
Okay,
another site.
yeah, that's fine.
I'm trying to find it.
But they canceled it. Like they left it on a cliff, and I want more of that Sonic with like Princess Sally, and all these characters, not the video game. Like I don't know the pink hedgehog's name. I can't remember her name.
Pinky.
I don't know. Something stupid. But they were freedom fighters trying to free their planet from Robotnik. It was not Eggman. It's never been Eggman. I think Eggman's a stupid name. Or Robotnik had turned like the entire population into robots, and it was so cool. It was so dark and fun, and then they canceled after 2 seasons.
Yeah, it's in Retro Crush. They have the Sonic series,
and
also.
It has one of the best rock and roll theme songs you can ever listen to in a cartoon show.
Well, I think that particular one is copyrighted under a different studio, even though they use the Sonic character. I think that's probably, if they thought to use it, they would have to get the rights to that one.
The only character, there's only 3 characters not original from the original franchise. It was Sonic, Tails, and Robotnik. All the other ones were original to that TV show.
Right.
But
sometimes when you do shows like that, where you have certain characters, and you said, "Well, yeah, you can make it. You can make a movie out of it." And sometimes you're like, "Well, if we can get the rights to it."
Yeah, I know.
That's
why they called him Ben Reilly instead of Peter Parker in Spider Noir.
Oh yeah, exactly. Because there's so much. I mean, between rights to the product, that you may have at least maybe 5 to 10 different companies that own the rights to it, and you got to say, how much you going to pay me for these rights, and then you got to go down the line and see what everybody else will take.
Yep.
Because I've heard that with the music right, with for example, music rights. Music rights is the worst thing right now in the industry right now.
WKRP.
KRP. The Drew Carey show. Drew Carey just finally resolved that situation.
They're on Tubi now.
Yeah. They were on Roku, then they came on Tubi, and I think that they're finally releasing a remastered set. Finally. Which that's great for the collection. And there's a lot of others. What was that other one? With about the family.
The Partridge Family?
No, not Partridge Family. It was in the 80s. With I can't think of his name. I'm talking about freaking on there. They had what would you do if I stand out of
the Wonder Years?
Wonder Years. Thank you. Wonder Years. You could imagine the freaking what it takes. I mean, is that on Blu-ray?
I think it's coming out. I think they resolved some issues with that.
Oh, okay. Because I know there's a lot of music in there that I know they were having their hands out as well to that point. And it's insane, this business sometimes. You try to put something out that everybody would like, but yet you can't make an agreement that says, "Hey, listen, I'll take a little bit of this, and then you take a little bit of that." You're getting a bump for your music. You already put a soundtrack. Guaranteed, you put a soundtrack album out. Says, soundtrack of the Wonder Years. That some of those studios did that. For many years now. But the Sonic with Jaleel White was really good, really good. Wasn't there 2 others?
They did one a cartoony set in a video game world. It was called Sonic the Hedgehog, and then they did one called Sonic Underground, which again had Jaleel White as Sonic.
Underground, yeah.
But he was the crown prince of the planet, and he had twins that was female and another male version of him, of Sonic. And they were in a rock band, and Robotnik had outlawed music, and they were in an underground rock band. He played the guitar. His brother played the drums, and his sister played a guitar. And they had amulets that were their instruments that they would play summon, and they were weapons themed as after instruments. It was a good it had great music. But,
yeah, this past week, and I have a video out coming out. When is it? Thursday. Because they have Pebbles and Bam Bam show is back. And the old stuff that has a lot of music in it from the Hanna-Barbera era in there.
I
And
liked that, like that. They did those TV movies in the I think '80s. Those Hanna Barbera Flintstone TV movies. It was like I Yabba Dabba Doo when Pebbles and Bam Bam get married, and then there was another one when they actually have their kids. I
I
like
still
those.
go back. I still go back to the Man Called Flintstone.
The Man Called Flintstone. I back in the '90s when they had that fad of turning all the Hanna Barbera cartoons into kids. I
Mhm.
liked the Flintstone kids.
Oh yeah, the Saturday morning one. Yeah.
They had the Tom and Jerry kids, the Flintstone kids, and then they had one called Yo Yogi,
Mm.
which was like a really it was that one was awful, but I liked the
Hmm.
Flintstone kids.
Yeah. Well, we're down to the end. First of all, if you're out there still, don't forget to hit that subscribe, like, share. You could still, after you can give thanks after the show on there. Just click on the little thank you on there. Also, don't forget shopcuticast.com. Gear up, stand out, join the movement. Stay mad is the promo code for 10% off on there. That will be running straight through the summer. So you don't have to worry. You know, if you're not in a rush, you can get it at your leisure. But don't forget, it ends at the end of the summer. Onto there. Also, don't forget, we're going to put this also in the chat. Hold on, let me get to that point. Right now, Dean is coming up at 6 p.m. Eastern, Destiny's Dispatch. Today he is doing, what is it? Rolling for Views is the subheading on there. So he couldn't be here today. He sends his apology on that. Also, if you missed it yesterday, Outpost had a great video talking about Spider Noir. And what do you got
Such a
coming
good
up?
show. I will be working. I'm working on a the new Spider-Man movie trailer review for the movie coming out, and I am looking for movies right now to start a new show called Bucket Hole, where I will be reviewing some of the worst movies reviewed on Rotten Tomatoes.
Mm, mm, mm. That's going to be interesting. Of course, obviously we have the Bad News Bars, the newly renamed channel is no longer Tennessee Tide Tabletop. It's now the Bad News Bars. That's Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Of course, we have Live from the Bunker at Sci-Fi for Me TV. I think he is going on tomorrow. He had a video today, which was really good. He was talking about animation on there. And Snob, what do we got tomorrow night?
It's Babylon 5, episode 5, The Long Night. I watched it. It's Jakar. It's focused on Jakar and Londo mainly. The whole incident with the Emperor and what they're gonna Londo's coup, and is it going to be successful or not? What's going to happen? All that, the details of it. That's what the most of the episode's about. So it's pretty good. Cam should like that one. He likes the Centauri stuff and the coup stuff. Everyone likes that. The coup stuff's pretty good, to be honest.
And we're coming down to the end of the Shadow War. It's like
One
next
episode
week.
left
Next
after
week
this.
is the end of the Shadow War.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're gonna do. Well, I mean, we're not gonna see an end, or we're gonna see moves towards the ending in
Right.
this one.
Yes.
Sheridan's
And then next
making,
week-
yeah,
Yeah.
he's getting ready to get set up and getting more forces together and stuff. So
Right.
that's
And
what's
then
going on
after episode 6, you'll be doing a recap.
we will, yeah.
Doing a recap of the Shadow War itself. The good,
Yes,
the bad,
first-
the ugly, the good, the bad, and the awful. as
Yeah,
they say
the
on there.
first 6 episodes, and then we'll go back to the regular scheduled program and do the whole Earth Civil War, which will be the rest of the season. So that's going to be a lot more detail there. Yeah,
A lot to take in. As far as my channel goes, we're working on next Tuesdays. Of course, obviously, we're working on that still. Tomorrow, we have a video I believe it's called Pixie or whatever the hell it is, the art site that basically they banned an artist, a really good artist, just because his artwork looked too realistic.
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah, his artwork is fantastic. It's beautiful work, but it was because of the AI system. The AI system flagged him. Goes
Said
to
that
show
he
you,
was he
you
wasn't
can't
real.
use AI with everything. We'll be talking about that. Of course, I said it earlier. MeTV Tunes, two legendary Hanna-Barbera series are coming back, which actually they started this past Sunday or Saturday. It's Pebbles and Bam Bam show, and Hong Kong Fooey has been added to
Oh,
the
Scatman
lineup.
Carruthers is Hong Kong
Yes,
Fooey. Love
yes,
that show.
yep, yep. It's been added to the lineup. And then mentioned this before, about obscenity laws and all that. On Friday, we're doing a video on Senator Jim Banks from Indiana. He's pushing a federal age verification, which is disguised as a rehash of the obscenity laws of the 60s and 70s. They want to bring back those old laws, which basically would put you in jail if if you happen to be a Dave Chappelle or Joe Rogan or something to that nature, and someone doesn't like your thing, you could be arrested and put in jail.
Finally, I get to put people in jail I don't like.
Shut up, Maple Leaf.
What a time.
But yeah,
You have that going on in your country.
I can't wait
Yeah.
to use it on my enemies.
yeah, and we're working
Don't
on
like
a
our
whole
Babylon 5 opinion, you're in jail.
That's right.
And next week, since it's holiday week, we're probably going to be light on video. So don't, we'll probably have some nice minis on there. What we normally do during the Madman with the Show Summer Edition on there. Gap After Dark, thank you. Yeah, thank you for stopping by. Really, really do appreciate you stopping by, and all of you who've stopped by, help support this channel. Also, go to these other channels, Sci-Fi Snob, Outpost Nerd, everybody here, everyone that I've listed. It's in the description below there. You click on, go right to their channel, including Out of Context AI. Thank you again for him for that music video. Don't Call Me Broccoli, which Snob just missed.
I'll go back
He's
and watch
one
it.
of the most
Go back and watch it.
He's one of the most disrespected characters in Star Trek, but he saved their butts so many times.
And he saved the Voyager at certain points.
Yeah. If it wasn't for him, the Voyager would have never gotten home.
Yep, exactly. Or got in contact with them to that point.
I was just watching some A-Team clips earlier today with him in it. I loved him as Howling Mad Murdoch.
I think he was going Babylon 5 also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great actor.
One thing I got to bring up today. Oh man, I have to bring this up today. I've been watching the last couple of days. I've talked about Police Story, the TV series that's on Tubi. The special guest stars on there. There was an episode, and these two people weren't really main characters. Well, actually, one was a main character, but he was killed off early. But it reflects back to Star Trek. John DeLance and James Darren are in an episode of Police Story together. A very young John DeLance, Q playing a cop.
Vic Fontaine. I love
Vic Fontaine. Yeah, James Darren, Vic Fontaine. Yes, so Vic Fontaine and Q were in a cop episode.
I remember Berman was talking about wanting to get him to come in and play Vic Fontaine, and him and what's the guy with the purple hair? Did you had Rick Berman, he and the other guy that ran Deep Space Nine. I can't remember his name. They were in a coffee shop talking about it, kind of spitballing, and they said they wanted him to play Vic Fontaine, and he just, as he said that, walked through the door to get a coffee. And they were able to sit down with him and sell it, and he loved it. I love that episode where they need to rob the holographic casino to get the story to end, and everyone's wanting to help except for Cisco, because Cisco it's like, oh, he's romanticizing that time in America. I'm like, dude, come on. Such a great episode though, and because Jim Crow was still invoked at that time in America, and Cisco was like, "Oh, I'm not going to do it. It's fake. It's not real." I'm like, okay, good episodes.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really think that's a big deal. I mean, last night I saw a guy flying a spaceship around, and I know eventually that he sells meth in Arizona. So I mean, it's not a big deal.
Spoilers.
Oh my word. But yeah, Police Story, if you guys haven't seen Police Story, it is the TV series back in the 70s that defined the cop series forward to present day. And there were many spin-offs of it, including Policewoman, what is it? I forgot the other one. It was one of the Partridge Family. He got his own TV series from it. We played Undercover Cop, and many others to the point. And there were many stars. There was another episode I saw. Don Johnson was in another episode, and so was his captain for Miami Vice also. Edward James Olmos,
better than Miami Vice in my opinion.
Edward James Olmos, was in an episode to there, and then many others. When you go through the episodes, it's like, was it 6 or 7 seasons? It literally you're like, oh my god, that guy's in this episode. Oh my god, that guy's in this episode. It's really good episodes. Some end sadly, others end, resolved. You never come back to any of these episodes. There are some that are 2-parters, but that's about as much as you're going to get out of the particular story. They're like one and done. You won't see those characters again, but you might see the same actor might come back as a different character in another episode. So yeah, do catch that Tubi TV.
Yes.
So remember,
do that.
Stay curious, stay informed, and most of all, stay mad. We'll see you next time, 3 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube and on Rumble. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Later.
Thank you, everyone, for stopping by. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and we will see you next. Bye.